Roblox games based on true events. You may know Jeepers Creepers and even more monstrous characters found on Roblox, but did you know that a lot of these are actually based on true stories? All those witch trial games found on Roblox, yeah, that's based on real life. And I'm going to take a look at these Roblox games that may seem normal and based off of a fictional character, but then you realize it's actually true. So you may have seen some of these games. They're based off of the movie Jeepers Creepers, and it's a pretty old movie, but I'm actually surprised just how many Jeepers Creepers games there actually is on here. And while the monster himself is completely made up, there's actually some true events from the movie, probably the most iconic scary moment of the film. Yeah, so someone replicated the movie on Roblox. There's this abandoned house or church in the middle of the woods in the movie, and then he also drives this iconic truck here. And the reason why Jeepers Creepers goes here is because he has a whole layer where he carries a lot of his victims. Yeah, he carves the victims and turns them into a mask and part of his outfit. It's honestly very disturbing. Here's another game based off of Jeepers Creepers. There's the abandoned church via cave entrance over here. And again, what's creepy about all this is that it actually happened at one point. Here, let's take a look at this video for more information about it.
How the movie Jeepers Creepers was based on a true story. Jeepers Creepers was released in 2001. The film's writer and director Victor Salva took inspiration from an incident in Michigan in 1990.
Yeah, that's the guy right there.
The real-life event involved a married couple, Ray and Marie Thornton, who were on a road trip. They reported seeing a man disposing of what looked like a body wrapped in a sheet into a well behind an old schoolhouse. This is the actual schoolhouse.
Oh, okay, so it was a schoolhouse.
When they investigated, they realized the man had noticed them and began following them in his vehicle, creating a tense and frightening experience. This event was part of the case of Dennis Depew, a Michigan man who murdered his wife and disposed of her body in an abandoned school.
Jeez.
The eerie and unsettling circumstances of this crime served as the inspiration for the opening scenes of Jeepers Creepers, where the main characters, a brother and sister, encounter a mysterious and terrifying figure disposing of bodies.
Yeah, and again, that's true. In the movie Jeepers Creepers, the brother and sister are driving when suddenly this truck just starts attacking them. Yeah, look, there it is. Jeez, that's so loud. And then a few minutes later, they find the exact same truck, as well as the man, or monster, dropping something in this cave. Yeah, look, there it is. And then he notices them watching him, so he starts chasing after them. Jeez, this movie is creepy. Which again, actually happened in real life.
I saw a man behind it, and he had what appeared to be
there it
a
is.
bloody sheet. As we continued passing the school, I saw the van parked between the building and a big tank.
And again, that man was by the name of Dennis Depew. And while the couple were trying to find a phone, their journey was interrupted when they saw the truck quickly approaching them from behind. Now, the couple were able to outrun his vehicle, and they wanted to call the police, but they wanted to gather more information. So they courageously turned around and returned to find the truck. I honestly don't know why they would do this. I'm so glad they didn't get caught. But when they got there, a tall man wearing a white hat stood at the back of the vehicle with the doors open, changing the number plates. It's honestly very spooky, and Jeepers Creepers was one of the most terrifying movies for me as a kid, and to find out that some parts of it are actually true, that just makes it way more terrifying. Now, the next Roblox game that's actually based on real life is a bit more strange. That's because it involves witches. It's all these Salem type games that you find in Roblox. Salem 1692, the Salem witch trials. Actually, if you type in 1692, you find a couple more games about Salem witches. Yeah, that's because at some point in America, people actually used to believe in witches. And many people were wrongly accused because of this. And this actually did happen. And I found this game called The Witch Trial Story. A short, funny story. I'm not sure why it has to be funny. So here we have a sleeping pilgrim. You can tell he's got his hat right there. And then here comes some horses. I think he's gonna get some bad news here. There, he's the witch. Halt, witch. What do you mean, sir? He is a witch. He tormented me in my sleep, then whipped me with demons. You're going to trials, fool. And then he goes to jail. Time to be hanged. Oh, okay, jeez. And then it does actually show him dead. Bruh, I was innocent, but I get to go to heaven. Haha. I guess I accused wrong. Dumb. Yeah, so this game is kind of unsensitive, but it actually did happen. There's these girls that range from 9 years old to 18 years old. They were all framing people in the town of Salem that all these adults were witches, and all the adults will end up dying. Let's take a look at this video here.
Crazy facts about the Salem witch trials. Giles Corey, an elderly man accused of witchcraft, was pressed to death with heavy stones because he refused to enter a plea during his trial. His last words were, "More weight."
Based.
The famous witch's mark used as evidence during the trials was often a simple bodily blemish, like a mole or birthmark. which was believed to be a sign of the devil's mark. At one point during the trials, a dunking test was used to determine guilt or innocence. The accused person's hands and feet were bound, and they were thrown into a body of water. If they floated, were guilty. If they sank, they were innocent.
Yeah, and in case you didn't know, witches aren't actually real, so there's a lot of innocent people that ended up drowning.
Betty Paris and Abigail Williams, the afflicted girls who accused others of witchcraft, later admitted to making false accusations and apologized for their actions.
Well, I'm not sure if an apology is going to do that much, because apparently there was more than 200 people that were accused, 30 of which were found guilty, 19 of whom were executed. Yet it says here the trials began after a few local women in Salem Village were accused of witchcraft by 4 young girls. And again, the age range was 9 years old, 11, 12, 17. Yeah, and so how this all began was in 1692 when Betty and Abigail began to have fits described as beyond the power of epileptic fits or natural disease to affect. The girls screamed, threw things around the room, uttered strange sounds, crawled under furniture, and contorted themselves into peculiar positions. And then I imagined a lot of the adults were framed for all this, and it was pretty much the children's words against the adults' words. And a lot of the times the judges would tell the accused to prove that they're not a witch. And so the way to do that is by drowning, apparently. Some of the accusers and participants did end up coming forward to express regrets and remorse for their roles in the events. One of the girls, Ann Putnam, signed a public apology for her actions during the trials, acknowledging that she had been misled by her own fears and the influence of others. So I guess after the first few people that were accused, a lot of the girls were scared that they themselves would get in trouble, so they just kept pointing fingers and framing everybody else but themselves. Yeah, the whole Salem witch trials is a weird and tragic history in America, and it's just crazy how many games and shows, even sponsored by Disney, all revolve around this time period. And I know I've covered a lot of killers in the past, but this one is actually based off America's first serial killer. He actually had an entire murder castle built for this. And yes, it's actually found on Roblox. It's literally titled Murder Castle, a building filled with traps and riddles, and yet to find a way out of here, based off of America's first serial killer's building. Oh, okay, this looks pretty spooky. Wait, is that the killer right there? So apparently he had a hotel or a castle just filled with tons and tons of traps. I don't think this game was ever fully done. Maybe the creator's still working on it, but I did want to find out more information on America's first killer, and that is H.H. Holmes, who was active between the years 1891 and 1894. And where can Holmes' murder castle be found now? Well, it's actually now a post office.
This is not a normal post office. It's the murder castle site of H.H. Holmes. He was America's first known serial killer, and he opened a hotel for the World's Fair. 200 unlucky guests would check in but wouldn't check out alive.
200?
The hotel had trapdoors, secret stairways, and hidden chambers. The hotel was burnt down, and today a post office stands. The original basement is still there, and the plot is likely to have more remains that haven't been discovered.
No, thank you. We want to stay far away from that one. I do want to see more about the castle, though. Like, how did it look like?
There he built a labyrinth of soundproof rooms, secret passages, and maze-like hallways and staircases. Some rooms allegedly had trapdoors where Holmes could drop victims into the basement.
This is all documented?
Was said to have acid vats, pits of quicklime which is used on decaying corpses, and a crematorium.
But according to the Wikipedia here, details about the building along with many of his alleged crimes are considered exaggerated or fabricated. Many of these inaccuracies have persisted due to the combination of ineffective police investigation. Holmes was also known for lying, and it made it difficult for researchers to ascertain the truth on the basis of his statements. Yet on here, for victims, there is one actually confirmed, but as for the total victims, the speculation ranges all the way to 200 to even just 20, so we may never know for sure the exact answer. But yeah, if you guys like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.